Welcome to Hatred Assassin, and this is going to be a guide to help you get in and start playing in operations. So first up, we're going to go over your talents. The talents are going to be starting down here at the 23, we're going to have Persuasive Death, and then for 27, we can pick either Mauled Spike or Overload. These are utility pieces, and whatever one works for you is fine. At 39, we're going to go with Befall. This is going to make it so we do tons of extra crits with our dots, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. Hungering Force at 43. This is also going to increase our critical strike chance. Then we're going to go to Formless Phantom. And the reason why we pick this one over the others is because almost every single operation has a AoE that a boss places out, and you get a short cooldown on a damage reduction ability, such as Mass Mind Control here, being 45 seconds of a cooldown. It's going to make us take 60% reduced damage during that time frame for 15 seconds. In a DPS spec, this is not a taunt, but a threat reduction ability. We're going to go up and pick up Lambast because we want to do some AoE damage, and it's part of our AoE rotation. We can pick up Force Shroud so that we can purge ourselves every 1 minute. And Reaper Rush is going to be the best on this tier list, so that we can, if you kill something, it just resets the cooldown of your Phantom Stride. We're not really looking for some of the abilities out of this Phantom Rush though with this spec, because there is a 10-second cooldown window for your Eradicate to proc anyways, in between killing targets. The gear we're going to be running is your standard 344 Ricotta gear, and the standard 7.4 alacrity, 110% accuracy, and everything else gets dumped into crit. But let's talk about your tactical. Is going to be 2-time Trouble. This makes it so that your Creeping Terror, which is one of our dots, has a 100% chance to tick an additional time whenever you deal damage with Assassinate, which is going to be part of our rotation, and a 60% chance to tick when we also use any other non-basic melee attack. Part of our rotation is going to have Leeching Strike, which is a melee attack, and Thrash, which is a melee attack, as well as our AoE, which is going to be that Lacerate. That's why we picked up Lambast, which is also considered a melee attack. And then the implants, we're going to use Force Training Package, which just gives us a flat 3% damage bonus, and Dynamic Force Package, which reduces the cooldown of Recklessness by 15 seconds. This will be important in a little bit, and I will show you why. For relics, a Power and a Mastery relic are perfectly fine for the additional damage that they provide. One small thing to note here is a passive that we have called Bloodletting, where the damage of our periodic effects have a 30% chance to trigger Bloodletting, which reactivates the cooldown of our Assassinate and makes it usable on any target regardless of health. So you'll start seeing your Assassinate glow during your rotation as you're killing something, and that allows you to use this ability on targets that have more than 30% health. Inevitable Demise, Death-Filled Eradicate, and your periodic damage abilities deal 25% more damage on targets under 30% health. This allows Hatred to completely ramp their damage up when the target is below 30% health. When most other classes are going to be using their Adrenal on pull, with usually other raid buffs accompanied with this, as a Hatred Assassin, we're going to wait till the target is at 30% health to use our adrenal. That way we can stack additional power when we're doing 25% more damage to the boss. So the rotation for hatred is very simple. We're going to go through and pick Eradicate, Recklessness, Creeping Terror, Discharge, Death-Filled, Leeching Strike, Assassinate, and at this point in time, our Eradicate will proc every 10 seconds to reapply Eradicate, and then we're going to start filling with a ton of melee. As we do this melee, every single time that we thrash strikes twice. Each strike is going to tick all of our dots that are on the target. So it's going to be a thrash spam until our Recklessness comes back off of cooldown. As soon as Recklessness is back, we can then go through this dot window of 2 through 7 again. We're going to go Recklessness, Creeping Terror, Discharge, Death-Filled, Leeching Strike, and Assassinate again. Remember, we're pressing Eradicate every time it glows, and we're filling with Thrash. And if we're doing AoE, instead of this Thrash, we then replace it with Lacerate. And what happens is Lacerate spreads all of our dots to everything that's around us, and it additionally ticks all those dots every time that you hit with the Lacerate ability, because it's counted as a melee damage. So it's ticking and ticking and ticking all the dots. So it's just basically replacing the Thrash in with Lacerate for AoE. You still want to apply your dots and spread them. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and give this a go. So first off, we got to get next to the target. We can use those Phantom Stride to get in. And then we're just going to go 1 through 7, going back to 1 whenever it's glowing, and spamming 8. And that's how this rotation goes.